motherfucker.
Welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today let's talk about Rick dying for Daryl. And I promise this is going to make sense. I promise. We're going to get into that real quick. I want to keep this brief because this is a video I want to pull fan feedback from to discuss with our live stream. And speaking about our live stream, I was going to do one so we could discuss the trailer. And then I remembered, geez, we're only like a day and a half away from Sunday, and we have our Sunday night weekly live stream. So instead of doubling up on the live stream and running out of things to talk about, we're going to discuss the trailer and everything live right here on Sunday for our live stream, since Fear the Walking Dead's not back yet, and we'll have plenty to talk about with The Walking Dead, Rick's confirmation, everything, the trailer, Fear the Walking Dead, and we just got confirmation. I believe her name is Samantha Morton. She's an actor that has been cast for Alpha, and this is official, and it is confirmed, so that's actually really exciting. A lot of fans were still worried we weren't going to get the whispers, but that's really exciting, and it's confirmed even though the trailer heavily hinted it. And another thing, the casting didn't really have me go, oh my god, that's perfect. But I recognize the actress, and I think there's definitely some hope there. I think this casting, even though I had that feeling like, oh, I'm not sure, but I recognize the actress from some work, and I think it's definitely possible she can do a fantastic job. So going right into the main topic, Rick dying for Daryl. Now, I was watching the trailer a couple times, and you know, this Rick dying is oddly familiar to Carl dying. Remember how the fan base felt like, really? You're taking him out? It feels like you're taking him out of the story too soon. Why take him out? What is the reasoning behind it? What is the purpose behind it? And we're getting that same, it's like deja vu, the same feeling with Rick. Like, really? Why? And we know, or we can get to understand the way that the writers tell the stories and how they use character deaths to progress the storytelling. And what excuse did they give us with Carl? The excuse was they needed a reason for Rick to keep Negan alive. They needed a reason for Rick not to just murder all the saviors and go on, you know what I mean, without them. They needed a reason so that way they could just end the damn war, pull the communities together, and work together. So I'm simplifying it a lot, but that was the main reason, the main justification for Carl's death that we got from Scott Gimple. Now, when you're looking at Rick dying, and you're looking at the main theme in the trailer, Maggie, I didn't even think about this in the beginning because Maggie is someone in the comic book who had issues. So yeah, obviously they're going to bring it to the TV show. It's going to be remixed, but, you know, there's going to be conflict there. But then we have Daryl, and it's like, well, what do they get out of this? We've already had Rick and Daryl do their headlock. They've already butted heads. What more do they get out of this story? And I noticed something with Maggie that's actually real interesting. It's that bruise. Remember the video I did just before about what we missed in the trailer? Well, Maggie has this altercation with, it appears to be Gregory or someone else that Gregory puts up to it. But it really looks like Gregory, and it really looks like she has someone else tied up. And it looks like there's a hangman set up with like fresh wood built. And I noticed something. Here and there throughout the trailer, you can actually see the bruise where she got hit. In the one scene, yeah, right here. I didn't even notice this, and we saw this ahead of time. Maggie is talking to Michonne. Michonne is saying, you know, we need to establish basically laws for when people do things bad, whether it's bad big or bad little. Hold on, I want to pause on Maggie's face. And I didn't even notice this, but look at right here. She has already been attacked. They're not going to drag this Gregory attack out. I think Gregory's going to die in the first episode. I shit you not. Maybe the first 2 episodes. Maybe the first episode is setting it up, and the cliffhanger is, dun dun dun, Gregory's going to kill Maggie and take over the hilltop. He's scheming. And by the second or third episode, I'm telling you now, it looks like Gregory's going to die that quick. And if you look at some of the other images of Maggie throughout here, you'll see this, I believe when she's wearing this shirt, it looks like she's wearing some makeup, which is new, but it's really on there. She looks drop dead gorgeous, you know. Maggie walks out with Jesus, but it looks like she's wearing a little makeup, and I'm wondering, maybe that's just me drooling over a hot chick, or maybe the actual character is covering up some of the bruise when she goes out on a run. But a more telling piece of information is when she's talking to Rick here, you can actually see some of that black and white, that black eye right here. I mean, it's covered, but you know it's there, because if you look at the other image, it kind of lines up this little part here. And if this is after, it makes sense. She executed Gregory, or who else attacked her, and she's telling Rick, you know, you said you were going to follow me after, and you didn't, because I wasn't ready yet, you know, to lead. But I am now. I made the decision. I killed Gregory. You know, that's what I did. And I'm going to continue to lead. And then we have DARYL. DARYL looks like he's throwing his bike down, pissed off at Rick. And like I said, we got the bros. I love the bros on the bike. Look at them, just chilling. That's the calm before the storm. Because later on, DARYL throws down his bike. He's pissed at Rick. He's like, hold on, what'd you say? You called DARYL or Merle an asshole? You know? But what are they trying to achieve story-wise? Well, it might be very similar. It might be very simple, you know, and very similar to what they did with Carl. What do they need to do? They need to resolve the conflict between the communities. You know, build that up and have it go with conflict and tension. Kick us off, introduce this new world with the time skip, the communities. And they're not always going to get rid of the internal conflict. That's always going to linger to some degree. However, if Rick is going, and if DARYL is stepping up, well, no, Rick is going, but if the rumors are true that DARYL is stepping up and being a lead, and they're also going to rely heavily on the females. There was an article, that wasn't a coincidence. There was an article about the females stepping up. I believe this is going to be similar to Carl. Carl died for Negan. And that's exactly, I mean, that's simplified. But they came out and said that. They needed a way to keep Negan alive yet. You guys know, because a lot of you were pissed. Carl died for Negan. Rick might die for DARYL. Why? Because it progresses the story forward. If he dies for DARYL and Maggie, Maggie has already killed somebody. Well, I'm guessing, okay? Maggie is attacked. They try to overthrow her leadership. She kills them, executes them. And it might be different. She might shoot him in the face. You know what I'm saying? She might just stab him in the head when he's on the ground, because we do see her. I think that's a zombie, but we do see her. It looks like she attacks somebody on the ground. Who knows? Bottom line is, she tells Rick that's the law. But with the conflict about to boil over, maybe this is when Rick gets the injury and he saves his people, and they have a more emotional scene about, you know, it's the future for us, you know. I don't want to predict what speech he's going to give, but Rick gives his final farewell speech, and this, you know, tears DARYL apart. This is his brother, you know, and maybe through Rick's death, DARYL wants to become or respects the leader that Rick, you know, was, that got them to this point, which would make sense throughout all the seasons. Remember DARYL, when Carol, back in season 2, Carol was like, psh, Rick a bum. I don't remember exactly, but DARYL was like, nah, he cool with me. He got us this far. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's the direction they're going, where DARYL looks at Rick's leadership. He got them this far. I've trusted him, my brother, this far. Like, I've let my anger for Negan get in the way of that. You know, cause problems and interruptions in our friendship, and now he's dead and he's gone. You know what I mean? And the last months we had together, it was, you know, anger and beef a little bit. And maybe that is what they're going to use to heavily modify the DARYL character, because that's something a lot of fans are worried about. With DARYL being the lead, which I think it's going to be DARYL, obviously, he's one of the fan favorites, but he's also going to be propped up with some of the strong females, and that's not like just because, we're not going to get into that type of discussion, but it's not just because they're females. They just happen to have some really strong females, both characters and actors. You know what I'm saying? And the one thing that confuses me is losing Maggie. She's kind of been forgotten about, I want to say, a little bit since we're hearing confirmation that Rick is gone. So I don't know what they're going to end, or what they're going to do, or how they're going to end Maggie's story. But they're hinting that, yeah, she's going to be off the show, but there's a chance she could come back. And it doesn't sound that way for Rick, you know? I mean, Andrew Lincoln came right out and said, this is my last season. If he was coming back, they would have left it open-ended for A, publicity, and 2, the same thing they did with Maggie. However, I'm being pessimistic. I think Maggie and Rick are both dead and gone by the end of the season. But if they're going to rely on DARYL as the lead, like I was saying, with his supporting cast of actors that have incredible range, like Michonne, like the actress who plays Carol, Melissa McBride has an amazing range. They can use Rick's death and how it impacts DARYL to actually transform that character into a leader that would surprise the shit out of even the biggest DARYL skeptic out there. It could be more than just a sad ending coming full circle for Rick Grimes, which I hope they can accomplish, making the death feel organic, but also come full circle for that character. Give him, you know, an honorable death without seeming like it was just a pretty death. Like Madison from Fear the Walking Dead, I'm sorry, but it was just a pretty death. It didn't feel like it was organic within the world because they wanted to show it just respectful. I don't want to see that for Rick. I want it organic, and then also keep that, you know what I mean, respectful. Like, this is our leader. It's come a full circle, emotional death. They did stuff great in other shows, like Breaking Bad has some good ones. I'm not going to get into that, but that's it. You know what? That's pretty much all I want to discuss. I want to ramble and discuss other things, but let's keep it, let's keep it around this topic. And I want to hear you guys give me your thoughts and opinions, if you don't mind, down in that comment box. I would love to pull some of your comments, into the discussion for fan feedback this Sunday, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. And if you missed my video, what you missed for the trailer, I think there's some really good shit in that trailer, and I think I'm right on the money with a couple things like the bridge and stuff. So go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for more Walking Dead content, and come back here every Sunday for the live show. And I'll leave you with this little funny clip that had me giggling while I was editing a video earlier. Here it is.
Hello, motherfucker.
I don't know. I'm stupid. Good night.